Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Ireland Abroad, the adventures and trials and tribulations of following Dublin City, taking them out of the big smoke and putting them into the lower leagues. I spent way too long trying to figure out like what screen I was going to have on, and I decided let's just put the home page there and just let's move on with our lives and record an episode. So you can kind of see it here already. Basically, we've just finished preseason. I've just amassed a bit of a squad. It's a small squad. I'm a little afraid, but I'm going to like pull in some kind of like fringe and reserve players. I say reserve. I don't have any reserves. I have a very threadbare squad. This could either implode or I'm just going to sign a bajillion people. Fuck it, I might as well just take you over. First of all, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to my tactics. What I'm going to do, basically, I have a plan A and a plan B. So plan A is a bit of a modified 4-4-2, but the way I've organized it is that I want my two wingers to basically be the focal points so that they kind of pull into that. They'll end up being the two strikers, but they'll play as wide strikers, where the two attacking midfielders, in essence, will operate like those central midfielders. And what they're doing is they're going to pull the defensive midfielders and the centre backs to kind of make them have this bit of indecision, to not really know what they're doing, because those wingers, they've set to cut inside, so that when they get the ball, because I'm mainly playing through the middle and then using those overlaps to pull those wide players in, where I want that attacking transition. I want that final ball in the final third. I want that to go out wide to come back in again. That's why I'm using those overlapping with the wing backs and the wingers. And I feel like wing backs will bring this tactic to life, because I could pull them back into the fullback role, but fullbacks are more inherently defensive when I don't want that defensive system. What I want is I want that solid four here, because like one of the things I'm using a bit of a combination of a mid block and a high line while pulling and trapping them inside, because I want to turn over possession in the middle of the park so that I can then play it through using that box formation. Because as you can see, there's a lot of triangles being built up here, and I have that solid core in the middle so that I can then pull it wide into those wing backs and those wingers. That's the plan. That's plan A. Plan B is a kind of like a more traditional kind of, essentially it's the same thing, but put it into a box formation while having that central striker, and instead of having attacking wingers, have supporting inside forwards. So what you'll do is you'll still essentially have that attacking three going forward. I say attacking three, like plan A is just going to be that attacking two, but they're going to go into a bit of a box formation, similar to how you have the box in defense. Basically, it's a deceptively narrow tactic that utilizes wing plays. I'm just trying to kind of like generate those overloads. That's the plan. Plan B is kind of work it through the middle, bring it wide, and allow Heaney, it's going to be Verdun basically playing that role and have him go through. So that's the plan. Plan A, remarkably solid. I don't like 4-4-2s traditionally and typically. I find them difficult to work with, because you tend to need decent players, or you need to have players that are quite versatile. That's been my experience. But when I pull the fullbacks into wingbacks and I pull the wingers into those attacking roles, and I think it's working well. So I want to see how it actually works against like decent opposition. Preseason itself went fairly okay. No losses, no draws. I had a little bit of a tour in Northern Ireland with Carrick Rangers, Long Hall and Belfast before I agonised over if I wanted to take on League of Ireland Premier Division or First Division teams. I decided to go with two First Division teams, Wexford and Cove, who are kind of mid-table, not really threatening to get up there, but I figured to myself, if I can beat them comfortably, then we're doing well, especially because Cove have a decent goalkeeper, and we really felt it in that, because their goalkeeper Steve, what is his name? I know him, he's not even playing. He is a solid goalkeeper for that level. But let me introduce you to the squad, because the squad that I've amassed, I think I have a decent squad. Now, at the same time, the squad that I've amassed is not expected to finish. Where is it? Why am I struggling with this? Hold on, Vanarama. There we go. We're expected to finish fourth. although we do have one of the best centre-backs in the league, James Finnerty. He's my best player, hands down my best player. Solid attributes. And actually, there's one thing I forgot to mention here. Because I'm playing that high line, that aggressive, get stuck in and win the ball, I'm playing with 2 stoppers. None of this stopper-cover combination. I want them breaking forward and closing down. I want them aggressively chasing after the players. And the reason I'm playing with a mid-block as opposed to a high line is because I don't want them to play the ball over them. I actually want them to be able to close down that space. To a degree, I want that false sense of security that the opposition strikers can get where they have time to receive the ball, but then they have to actually make some magic with it because you have the 2 defensive midfielders. I'm trying to trap that space, and if I find that I'm just being overrun, I can bring those wing backs onto defensive mode, where I then essentially have a back 6 that will play the ball wide, because wing backs, even if you put them on defense, they're still going to go forward. Wing backs do not understand the concept of defense only. They are an inherently attacking minded player. Let's go into the squad planner, because this is probably the best way to see how it works. And you're going to see a lot of names repeating through. The first thing I want to go through is actually the goalkeeper, because I'm quite happy with the way I got my goalkeepers working, because where's contract? I managed to get 2 goalkeepers, Liam Hughes and Kevin Horgan, where Horgan has agreed to be my cup goalkeeper and Hughes is going to be my first choice keeper. Hughes, formerly of Liverpool, and he has a little bit of experience lower leagues. He went to Stalybridge while having a little bit of experience at Portadown. I know that's the Northern Irish First Division or the Premier Division, but it might as well be lower league. That's, if somebody tells you they're managing in Northern Ireland, they tell you they're managing in the Premier Division Northern Ireland, that's a lower league manager save. We understand this. We're suffering together. This crippling addiction that is known as Sports Interactive's masterpiece, Football Manager 2024. Speaking of that, actually, I have 64 hours in this game, and I missed the beta. I work full time. What is going on? I'm realizing that my life was unraveling before my eyes, and I'm perfectly happy with my decision. So those 2 goalkeepers, Liam, I think, is a really solid shout for this level. He's too good for us. He should not be with us, but we have him tied down in a 2-year contract, and he's expected to be able to get a lot better, because you can see here, could improve significantly. I think we could have him to League 2. That is a very real possibility. Although part of where I'm coming from is I might try use him a bit of a cash cow to see if I can try sell him to a League 2 or a League 1 side. We're going to have a lot of turnover. That's just how this is going to work. But the thing that I want to do is I want to try domestically produce through the League of Ireland into the English leagues, so that I can generate revenues and so that I can actually use a core contingent of Irish players. Going back to that squad planner, like I was mentioning, James Finnerty, very, very solid centre-back. Good anticipation, heading, marking. You got the Trinity in terms of defending here. Very good positioning, and he's not slow. He's fairly quick, good, agile. He's got good jumping reach. 6 foot. What more do you want? And I love a defender that'll bring the ball out of defence. That's just really fun for me, because what it ends up meaning is that you have that where you have Last, who's going to be the last man back, and Finnerty's going to bring that ball forward, and he's got McNamee. What did I struggle with that name? He's got McNamee, who's a left-footed deep-lying playmaker, and the 2 of them are going to link up, and Sullivan is just, his job is to win the ball. That is his job. You have a pair of legs and you break other people's legs. That is your one job. You get the ball and you give it to Verdun, McNamee or Heaney. That is your job. Bring us back to squad planner. So probably the one thing, like I mentioned, Finnerty is our best player, but you might notice on here, Jesse Denvers. 4-star, we don't have him yet. He's on his way. He's in Australia. Look, himself and his dad fell out and he decided to go and find himself. He went down to Australia, playing a bit of football, found himself a girlfriend. They were getting along really well, but now they're having a bit of a rocky patch. She wants marriage. He just wants to play football. So I'm offering him an out. I'm bringing him back to technically England. I'm his out ball. I am his wing back playing in a support role. He's right-footed, knocks the ball past the opponent with good pace and good acceleration, but look at that. And because with the way I want my wingers playing, I want them cutting inside. I want them being that kind of that attacking trident where you have that floating player in the middle, but the two wings cutting in to generate those big, huge crossing or shooting opportunities. That is going to be beautiful. Very good technique as well. I do like to see that, but the off the ball and the flare. It's just, I can't wait for him to arrive now. And he's coming in October, so I have a little bit to get through. But so I have two players on loan. I have McManus on loan, who I thought was going to be a first-team player, but in pre-season he just didn't really light it up. Ben Lynch is my best left-back, but he's joining Cork. Look, it is what it is. That's just the way it works. So we have him on loan for half the season, and then he's going to feck off. But I've got my other left-back is, where are you? Kevin O'Connor. Pretty much a like for like. Because if you compare, where is he? Ben Lynch. They're very, very similar players. Lynch is that little bit better, I feel. Actually, now that I'm looking at these comparisons, side by side, Kevin is the much better player. Let's go back over to squad. Kevin O'Connor. Bye. And look, he's coming in as a squad player and playing time, so that'll be fun. So Kevin is going to debut at left back. I can't believe I never actually looked at them. Let's swap these around, because Kevin, I was convinced Ben was the. But actually, I think the reason this is in my head is because I was trying to get another left back, Barnett, who just didn't want to. He went somewhere else. But we're trying to get him in on loan. But just look at him. He is a beautiful, beautiful left back. Left footed, only runs down the ball with the left and gets forward whenever possible. He's got the player instructions that I want from my left back, especially because I want them going forward and providing that overlap, because I want the aggressive winger pulling inside, and then you have those supporting roles in midfield to be able to act as those linchpins, because the movement is going to be happening in those half spaces and in the wide channels, while I want the support ball kind of like the one, like in a 1-2, pass it to the two. The midfielders are going to be that two who are going to be offering that linking play. I think he would be a beautiful, beautiful player in that role. And I mean, he can play centre back, but at 5'7", look, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm inherently dispositioned against Martinez. He might be an incredible defender, but I'm not allowed to think of him that way because it's the ancient rival. So I'm obligated to say he's a small man, and I'm not allowed to like him. Very similar, Dylan Barnett is just going to be in the same problem. 5'7" is fine as a winger. You can bomb up the wing with that. But if you're a centre back, it's just... Look, all credit to you if you pull it off, but I'm just not trusting you. And I say this as a 5'10" goalkeeper. It's hard to generate that trust with a manager. They just don't believe you can do it. So back to the squad manager. Basically, it's so McNamee, Madison, Sullivan, very similar players. McManus, I have him in on loan from Shelbourne. Mainly a creative player, but you've got that bit of an all-rounder. That's quite what I like about him. O'Sullivan is he's a ball winner. That is what he is. He just breaks people's legs and brings the ball with them. It's, you know, the definition of a man and ball tackle. That is what I want John O'Sullivan to be. 6 foot, and he's got brilliant bravery and anticipation. He's got the strength and the stamina to be able to operate in that holding role. So I do want him playing in that role. I just want him chasing players down, harrying aggressive midfielders and just getting that ball back. That is what I want him to do. And to hand it off to over McNamee or McManus. So McNamee is between McNamee and McManus. I do think he's the better player in terms of his player traits are beautiful. He's got shoots from distance, killer balls, as well as come deep to get the ball and generate that tempo. That's why I have him playing in the deep lying playmaker role as opposed to a defensive midfielder role. For this tactic, I would rather a defensive midfielder, but I feel like just to get the best out of McNamee, I have to play him in that playmaker role. I need to allow him the space to be able to move between the lines to become a passing option, especially because Finnerty is going to move out with the ball. So McNamee has to actually present himself as an option so that I don't get overrun. But in terms of stability, I might end up just sacrificing that individual brilliance and just having him play as a defensive midfielder. We'll see. We'll see how it works. Delap, I just look as just a decent winger. His best winger in the squad, although if you go over here to Coffey isn't the best winger that I have at the club. Actually, considering Delap plays on the left, he is. Coffey had an incredible pre-season. Look at this, 1 assist, 2 penalties. Actually, he didn't have as good a pre-season. I just saw 3 goals and I assumed this is a decent player. But look, he's starting for us just because of that really good pre-season form. He had a 7.1. He had no player of the matches, but look, he can't be everything. Heaney kind of blew me away. 3 goals. I was not expecting, like when I brought him in as a bit of a fringe player, as somebody who can kind of come on, but he's kind of broken himself into being a fringe, he's broken himself into being a first team player. So himself and Verdun are going to quote unquote lead that line, when really what I want them doing is I want them tying up and making those defensive midfielders and centre backs. I want them to have to make choices, because you've got, like in attack, you've got 4 players. These 2 are going to be moving around to prevent supporting options, and I want them taking the ball between the lines, because that's typically what attacking midfielders do, and put in those spray passes, because as you've seen here, I have passed into space. The overall aim is I want to condense the play. That's also why I've done the mid-block and forcing them inside. And I have kind of that crowded, congested midfield. I want to try win the ball back and then use the spaces generated by that tight play. If everybody's congregating in the middle of the park and my most dynamic players are my wingers, that means that once I win the ball back, I can spray those passes into space, into the outside, to be able to generate those overlaps. I've thought about this. Now, whether or not this actually works in practice, you'll find out in the next episode, because this is 16 minutes and we're just talking about. Look, Spreadsheet Manager 2024 has been an absolutely incredible installment, and I'm happy. Are you having fun? Actually, let me know about your saves. Like, who are you managing? Where are you managing? Has anybody managing anywhere new? So Heaney, Verdun, Delap, Coffey. Heaney, Verdun. Let's do the lap and let's go for Coffey. Okay, so Kavanagh is also a really good right back, and I thought a little bit of a coup when we got him, because 29 years of age, really good crossing and dribbling, and those mentals are really nice with good stamina. Professional, gets forward whenever possible, does not dive into tackles. That is so good as a wing back. If you does not dive into tackles as a wing back, I really, really rate that, because that means that they're actually using their mobility to be able to get up and down, and they're not beaten when they're committed. That is so important. I just realised I've got a light down there. I came home and my main light just, you know when you turn the switch on and you just get like a brief glimpse where like a blink and you'll miss it and then it's off. And I was just way too lazy to buy a bulb. Look, I spent 8 hours at work. I don't want to have to do more of it when I came home, he says, talking into a microphone to make YouTube videos. So let's go to the dynamics page, because this is one of the funniest screens I've ever seen. The cohesion of this team is in the fucking toilet. Now, what you expect, it's a group of 20 players who've literally never played together, but the club atmosphere is absolutely skyrocketed, and I have really good support. And I think I've done a really good job here, because if you go into hierarchy, most of them are influential as well as highly influential. Now, I have no leaders yet, but you can see Kavanagh and McNamee, both of them are my captain and my vice captain, and they've made their way into especially highly influential players. So there's a good character in this squad. Like the social groups, yeah, there's a bit of a spread, but like not terrible. But where I think this is really done is if you go into the experience matrix right here, the core bulk of my squad is either in their peak or emerging talents. I think I've amassed a decent squad here. Like the club is expecting us to go up first time of asking. Where is it? Club Vision, yeah. They're expecting us to go straight up, automatic promotion. Automatic promotion means win the goddamn league. I'm not sure about that. But that's what they want us to do. They want us to get automatic promotion. I think we can do it. I fancy us for it. I really do. I really do fancy us for it. Especially because in pre-season, because if you look at this, look, 3 goals, 1 goal, 5 goals, 5 goals, 2 goals. We're a goal-scoring side, 2 clean sheets, bit concerned we didn't get more, but like some of these were just absolute wonder goals. Like there was 1 goal against Wexford, it was a fucking wonder goal. We're 19 minutes in, so I'm not going to show it to you, but look, episode 1 proper, introducing you to the squad, showing you who we are. In the next episode, I'm going to open the National League North. We're at home in the Morton Stadium, our first home game as a professional senior club in over 10 years, and we're doing it at the bottom of the English leagues. Join me probably tomorrow. I don't know, maybe another 2 days. Look, the episode will get out to you when it gets out to you, but we'll be taking on shortly. My friends, talk to you in the next one.